Okay, finally I want to show you some of the options you've got for output. Now, I've already created a project file. We haven't talked about project files, but a project file lets you save map layers with all their styles and everything so that you don't have to keep setting them up again and again and again. So I've created this project file here, which has got just the boundary of Yorkshire plus the hectare grid and the larger urban areas, which I did by taking this strategy urban region and putting a filter on it to take out all the smaller areas. And that's what I'm going to use as my simple background for the maps. So now I'm going to go and get my CSV layer, so the one that we created earlier, edited great hits. Now, I won't bother about the abundance column because we're not going to colour according to abundance or records. But I do want to use a style file, again, another one which I created earlier. And this was a grey scale but no transparency on it, and that's what I'm going to apply. Okay, so I'm ready to go, or nearly. Let me load the taxa here and select rate it. And we can create our 2 kilometre atlas by clicking the button here. Okay, there's our atlas. It looks okay over the backdrop, and that is what I'm going to output. So I've got several options now. I can go to the project menu up here and say save as an image, okay, and that will create a simple bitmap. So if I create that in here, let's create a new folder, call it images. And in there we'll say grade it. And if I look in that folder now, we have a bitmap image in there, which just shows what was displayed on the map. Okay, so that's the very simplest way of producing output. But you might want some decorations on the map, like a scale bar, some text, an alt arrow, that kind of thing. And to do that in QGIS, we use a thing called the print composer. So I'm going to create a new print composer here. I'm just going to call it Atlas Map. And the first thing I have to do, if I click on this composition tab up here, is say something about the page size, and you've got some presets here, A4, A3 and all that rest of that stuff. But for the particular shape of Yorkshire, to get it something that fits it quite nicely, I'm going to put a custom size in here, and I've had a look at the map, and I think that a custom size which fits it rather well is a width of 200 millimeters and a height of 180 millimeters. Okay, and that gives us room for Yorkshire itself plus some annotation. Next thing to do is pop a map in there. So I use this control up here, add new map, and drag a square over the page where I want it to appear. This is my map frame. Well, I want it really to cover virtually the whole of the page. Once it's on there, I can resize it by dragging like this. And I can zoom within it, as it were, and pan by using this button here. So now I can pan the map to get it in the position I want. I want it down towards the bottom so that I can put a title up here, a scale bar here, and an alt arrow up here. Okay, that looks good. So let's add a scale bar, which I do by clicking on this, clicking on the map roughly where I want it. And if any of these items that you're adding to the map, when you select it, you can see their item properties up here. So I click on the item properties of that scale bar, it's there. Now I'm going to modify that a bit because I don't like it where it goes from 0 to sort of minus figures. So I'm going to take off the left 2 segments, and I'm going to increase the right one to 5, so we got to 50 kilometers. I'm just going to make it a bit narrower. Okay, that'll do for my scale bar. I'm quite happy with that. Just reposition it a bit. I don't think you need north arrows on maps that face north. I only think a north arrow is worth it if you're going to rotate a map, but some people like to put them on there, so I'm going to add one now. And you do that by adding an image. So I'm going to put an image frame here, go to the item properties again, and browse to the folder, the file that has that image in it, and I've got this north arrow image which I downloaded from the internet here. So that is my north arrow. If I were rotating the map, I could link that to the map so that as I rotated the map, the north arrow would rotate accordingly as well. Finally, I'm going to put some text at the top which says what this is. There's my item properties again. Let's increase the font size a bit. It's got to about 14. Okay, type in great tits, paragraphs major, trade distribution map. Okay, you can go on adding annotations and decorations to the map as you see fit. Okay, so there's our composition. Now I can send that to output. I can send it to a printer, I can make a PDF file, or I could create an image, and I'm going to create an image from it by clicking this button. Tell it where I want it to go. I'm going to call it Great Tit Composer. And I can change the resolution. So depending on what where you're sending it, if you're sending it to a printed publication, you might want to up that resolution a bit, but I'm going to leave it as 300 dots per inch. Save that, and in it goes. So there's our bitmap, okay, with our Great Tit map on it. So this also can be saved as part of the project. So if I close this window, we'll see the QGIS window behind it. Here it is, and that composer window is still part of this project. So if I save the project now, which is this button up here, well, let's take off the temporary map here, save it, and if I clear my project, so I've got nothing open now, no print composers or anything. If I look at the print composer manager, there's nothing there. But if I open my project, I've got my layers, but I've also got that new composer I created. So I can now go and get my CSV, whatever CSV it is I want to work with, generate my map. Let's do a different one actually, for the sake of showing something different. Let's do a tetrad map. Sorry, a hectad map. That looks rather horrible. But we can output that now. So if I go to the composer manager, show that, there it is on there. Okay, so in this case I need to change the text to hectad. I could have different versions of this, of course, one for each resolution that I wanted to use, and we're good to go. So we don't have to do all that setup each time. Once it's done, it's done. Okay, close that. Let's quit that. Let's create for the sake of it, because we haven't done it so far, a monad distribution map. Go to the print composer again, refresh the map. And there it is. Of course, we have to refresh the text. So monad. As I said, you could have different composers for each resolution. You could have as many composers as you like. And again, we can send that to the output. So, we'll call it Great Tit monad. Okay, so you see me doing them there one at a time because we've only got one species here in the spreadsheet, but this tool here is actually set up so that you could automate this process. So if there were 50 species in a spreadsheet, I could set it in batch mode up here and create a distribution map, let's say a monad or a tetrad distribution map for every species in that spreadsheet if I've got them all selected under here. And then I can use these buttons out here to send them automatically to create these bitmaps, either from the QGIS itself or by sending them to the composer. Okay, that's all done through options up here, like composer image and so on. So this can be automated. I've sort of shown you the long-handed way for doing it for a single species. And there are other demonstrations, videos that I've done for other taxonomic groups on our YouTube page that show you how to do that.